Hi, welcome to Bubba Rocks Media. It is Rising Bands time, and this time I have somebody a little different, singer-songwriter from South Wales, who is killing it at the moment. And yeah, I'm excited to get chatting music. Welcome in, Laura Evans. Oh, is that a dog I hear?
This is Bertie.
Hi, Bertie. Oh my God.
But our in-laws have a German Shepherd, so he has an Uncle Kai who's a
Oh,
German
yay.
Shepherd.
Are they best friends?
Well, yeah, they do get on, don't they? But Kai
Oh.
growls at him a lot. He tells him who's boss.
Well, that's always the way, 'cause our wee one, she rules the shepherd as well. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. But
Yay,
Kai is
doggy.
gorgeous. Yay.
Okay, well, look, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited to get talking.
Yeah, awesome.
So what I've seen as well is that you do have a new album coming out in
Yes,
October 17th, I believe.
that's right. Yeah.
Right. And a tour starting as well in September, towards the end of September, isn't that right?
I'm actually doing my own headline tour in November, but I am going out with another band as a support in October. So there's lots of tours. Yeah,
lots going on.
Yeah.
And what I also like to do, Laura, is get your advice from your perspective with your experience for newer artists starting out. I have a lot of new artists that are following and watching and listening. So it's always great to get your perspective too for them, just to keep, the motivation going for them in this modern world. So
yeah, totally.
Your brain for that as well.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Look, first of all, let's go back to the start. What I like to do is just, from your perspective, was there a defining moment with you that you can think of where you went, yep, I'm going to be a musician? Or was it more, like of an organic thing that happened for you?
Well, it always seemed like a dream when I was a kid, and it was always something that I would have liked it to be my career, my job. So I think I just willed it to happen. I just kept on. I was a bit relentless, but I was aware at a very young age it was very hard. So yeah, I mean, it was, up and down. It was like, yes, and then it's like, oh no, maybe not.
It is. It's a tough industry for sure. And I'm curious as well. Anyone who ever forms into getting any form of success at all in music, I'm always interested in who you have as influences. Who are you a fan of that has helped to get you to where you are now with your sound, with maybe the choice of the route that you went with as well. Was it always going to be I want to be a singer-songwriter, solo artist, or did you at one point want to be a rock star in a band? What helped to lead to that?
Well, I think being a solo singer-songwriter for me, that was easy because I was like in control. I had been in pop bands in the past, and there was sometimes it was hard because people would change their mind and you would clash on ideas. So it was a bit easier, and I'm a bit headstrong and could come up with a plan and stick to it, without anyone kind of changing their mind and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well with a lot of new bands who are starting out. They go through the phase of trying to find the right lineup. What you've just said there, maybe going solo is easier in that aspect because you want yourself really to answer to. You don't have to manage other people. But is there a moment when you realized that you were just ready to start going? Because there's a lot of kids I've noticed who are starting who are just, they have to be perfect straight away. In this modern age, everything has to be perfect, has to be ready to go. Whereas I think you're better developing as you go along. Would you find that as well? Did you just go, what, I'm just going to start?
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of back when I started out, there was less social media and it was more like show and tell. So if you couldn't go out and sing live, people didn't really take much notice. So I definitely cut my teeth on the live scene and learned how to sing live, and now I think younger people try and make everything perfect for 30 seconds. And actually that's not the reality, because you can't do a 45-minute show. I think people really see that, and I think that's when you gain the most momentum, when you do live shows. So I think that would probably be my biggest piece of advice to young artists is get out of the house as much as possible and get in front of people, because I think that creates content in itself,
Yeah, actually, yeah, and being in the real world as well and networking, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose, would be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to play a track now.
Oh, awesome.
And it's going to be the newest one, actually, Superman.
Awesome.
We'll have we chat about it afterwards. So this is Superman.
When you look in my, take my hand, we can fly away. Baby, I could be your Lois Lane.
Absolutely love that one. And what I love, Laura, about your songs, because I've been listening to them all week, and I love your storytelling in the lyrics. I do. I've always loved that kind of thing in music. And I'm just wondering, can you tell me what your songwriting process is? Just like, do you have to go somewhere and summon the magic? Or does it start with a lyric? Does it start with a melody? How does it come to you? Or does it just randomly happen one moment?
Sometimes it happens in different ways, but usually always I come up with the melody first. I'm a big melody person. So yeah, and I always co-write with someone. I love that. I do write by myself occasionally, but I love writing with someone else. And on this occasion, I sat down with my producer Ian, and I said, I kind of gave him a vibe. I said, I want like this kind of bluesy pop vibe, and he started playing something, and then he actually put all the music together, and then I said, I'm going to need some time to work on the lyrics for this, because I had the melody and everything. And then I took it away and took my time to come up with Superman and try to be clever and tell a story. So, I mean, some songs I can write in a day, and some songs I have to take home and work on it. So it's a different process for each song, really.
Yeah. And you did mention there that you like to co-write, and you've written for many people as well. And I'm just curious, because again, this is something that I've been, asked to ask. And it's, how did you get into writing for other people? Is there a process? Is there something that you need to do? Or did it, again, just happen organically?
It did happen organically, but I think once you start co-writing and not sitting in your house by yourself, once you start getting out there and networking, there is like a community and network of people. And it is a bit scary because songwriting is like magic, and sometimes you go in the room and you're great, and sometimes you go in the room and you don't have great ideas, or sometimes you can get in a room with a writer who maybe is great and intimidates you. I'm thinking of back in the early days. So I think you got to keep doing it, and then the more you write, the more you prove to yourself you can do it, and then opportunities just automatically open up, I think.
Yeah, and then just don't be afraid to take those opportunities then as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to be afraid, isn't it? And say, oh no, I'm stay in your comfort zone. But I always find once I step out of my comfort zone and write a song with someone else, it always just makes you get better, I think, for sure.
Yeah, surrounding yourself with others that you can learn from. I agree, big time.
Yeah. And also, people always have a different perspective than you. And then that sometimes puts a new spin on the song in a way that you might not have thought of. So that's always interesting.
That's a good point. And actually, on that, is there anyone that you would absolutely love to write with? That you've never written for? And it could be anybody, like somebody completely unrealistic, not even on the planet anymore, just anyone random at all.
There's so many people. I'm a big fan. There's a Welsh writer called Amy Wadge, and she's written for Ed Sheeran. She's a big hit songwriter. I mean, it would be terrifying. I probably would be terrified. But she would be amazing. I'm also a big fan. There's another great songwriter who writes for lots of people, and it's a guy called Ryan Tedder from One Republic. And I feel like he can I think he can just write anything. So that would be a great experience to learn from someone like that,
And again, if it happened, don't be afraid, just do it.
Face the fear.
Okay. So I also want to talk about your vocal. I absolutely love your tone and the control that you have. It's absolutely beautiful. And Wales is just killing it right now with vocals. But I want to know as well, have you advice vocally just on, first of all, how to manage and look after your vocal, but also is there any tips on how to test your vocal to see where you can take it without damaging it? And again, this would be, for new singers who maybe they don't know their full range, and can they test it without hurting it?
You can definitely test it, and you can definitely sing songs or practice songs that you love and see if you can hit a note. And if you can't naturally hit the note, I would say you either have to try and work on technique to get to the note, or you could stay in your comfortable range. Sometimes the best singers don't always hit the highest notes. They just sing things with emotion and feel. And I sometimes think delivering a lyric and a vocal is more impressive than being, too technical. So I think there's some amazing apps out there actually for warm-ups and getting your voice warmed up and keeping your voice healthy. And I think it's so easy to just think, I won't warm up, I'll just go sing an hour show. But if you warm up beforehand, for me, I just think you can do you've got so much more control. So that definitely works for me.
Cool. Did you always know that you could sing? Because I can't sing. I can't.
Can you
My
not?
son, no, absolutely not. I can't. My son can, and my partner can.
Oh, wow.
But I know I can't, and I'm okay with it. I'll still sing in the car. But like, for your level of vocal it is incredible. And did you just start singing one day, or did you have to develop it, or?
Do you know what? I will say I definitely felt like I had a voice as a kid. Because I know people say like it's a skill and it's a talent or a gift, but my auntie and uncle are singers.
Oh,
Funnily
nice.
enough, my mum can't really sing. My dad can sing, but my auntie and uncle are like amazing singers. And I like watched them sing and learned from them as a little kid. So like from 6. So yeah, so I feel like obviously I got better, I think, and I honed my craft, but I definitely could sing as a child. That sounds big-headed, doesn't it?
No, it's just honest. It's you can sing, and you know that you can't, and I knew I couldn't. But I was always okay with it. It's one of those things. But like you touched on emotion there as well when you're singing, because you can really feel that in your vocals. And I'm one of these people. Like I just love music. I'm just a big fan of music. It doesn't matter the genre. If a song connects with me, then it connects with me. And it's always down to the singer and how you just mentioned there delivering the vocals, and you just nail it with your songs.
Oh, thank you.
The other thing I would like to ask you, again, this is another thing that I get asked quite a lot from folks to find out from singers. When you're performing and also when you're recording, is there anything different that you need to do with your vocals to maintain them for both?
Oh, that's a tricky question, actually, because in the studio, I feel like you have to be really warmed up in all parts of your voice, because you might want to deliver a breathy vocal, or you might want to go all powerhouse, and you do it several times. If you keep recording tapes, then your voice gets tired. But that's a different kind of stamina to when you do a live show, because you don't have time to think or plan your riffs or how you're going to sing it. So I feel like it's almost like another discipline. Singing live, doing like a non-stop 45-minute set or hour set. But equally, you need to be warmed up for both. And also, I sometimes can sing slightly different things in the studio because I have more time to think about what I want to do. But in the moment on stage, whatever choice I make, like that's where it's going to go, So if that answers you, because it's live and there's no going back.
No, that's really good. Actually, I've actually been asked that quite a few times to ask. So thank you.
Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
No, it does, absolutely, because there is a difference. And the other thing is as well that when you're in the studio, I've had other singers who mentioned that they can kind of go more at it for the recording, and they don't have to do that so much when they're live. Just save the voice, really. Would you agree with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. On some of my ad-libs there's one song in particular in the album called Nobody Loves Me Like You. And the Oh, thank you. And on the last note, I kind of dug deep and really pushed it. And it was quite brave because the note could crack and I might not hit the note, but because we're in the studio, I can do it 3 times. And, obviously we picked the best one, but I would really have to practice that to do that live to make sure I hit the note. So that's a good example of the studio and live. Yeah.
That would terrify me. I would forget. I definitely am not the type that will get on a stage. So when you're writing songs, do you find that writing for someone else is more challenging or easier than writing for yourself?
Oh, I think it's easier to write for myself, actually. Because sometimes when you write for other people, sometimes your own ideas and identity kind of seeps through a little bit. And actually, the whole art of being a songwriter is to write for the artist. So I think you have to keep talking to the artist and find out what they want. So that's a challenge, I think, writing for someone else.
Yeah, because when I've spoke to quite a few songwriters as well, a lot of them will mention imposter syndrome when they're writing, and when to know when it's ready. A lot of them are like, oh, it needs this, it needs that still. And it's learning when the song is ready to move on with it. Do you have a gut feeling on it, or do you give it to somebody else to go, look, is this ready? Is there advice that you can offer then for new songwriters starting out, for them to just maybe trust themselves, that the song is ready and to know when?
Do I think when the song is ready when you can play it to someone else in the room, I don't know, your friend, your mom, anyone, and not be like, oh, do they like it? I think that's when if you sit there going, oh, should I change this? Oh, is that good? When you start doing all that, I think that's when it's not ready. But I know personally when it's ready, and sometimes I go back and forth a lot, and it's a process, but I think it's a gut feeling and playing it to someone else.
That would be really helpful, actually. So there you go, guys. Play it to someone else as well. Listen to your gut, play it to someone else.
Yeah, and also, constructive criticism is great. Like someone might have an idea that you can either take with or not, or it's interesting to find out, get someone's first opinion.
Yeah, and don't take it to heart. Yeah, constructive criticism, because some people can, especially when you're really involved and you're emotionally involved in it, it can be hard to maybe take someone else's criticism. So yeah, it's always worth being able to be a bit more open-minded, because they're not doing it. Have someone, I guess, that you can trust that isn't doing it for negative, ways. They're doing it there to help you, really, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we all listen to songs on the radio, and everyone has taste, and what is a good song. If you listen to songs a lot, like me, sometimes a song can just come on and you think, oh God, that's a good song. You just know. Yeah,
it just touches you, gets you right in the soul. No, absolutely. And you have quite a decent back catalogue as well, because I've been nosing through everything, and I'd love to know, first of all, for new fans listening, where you would recommend that they start, to listen with you. Should they start with the new stuff, or should they go back to the older stuff? And then also, how do you feel as a songwriter that your songs have evolved since you first started?
Well, they definitely have evolved. But I think as you grow as a person, you evolve, I think, naturally. So I'm super proud of the music I'm making right now, and this recent kind of wave of music. So I think it would be interesting for a fan to listen to all my stuff now, like it, and then go back and listen to my old stuff, just to kind of see how it's evolved, really. I mean, I made a really sweet, I loved country music for a while, so I made kind of Americana sweet album back a few years ago, which was just where I was. It was kind of trendy and cool, and it was what I was inspired by. But I listen to a lot of music, actually, so I quite like to, change it up.
Yeah, so I love that about music as well, and artists just in general, how they can evolve and change, because as fans we do too. We evolve and change well. So it's always nice to see that with the artist as well, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely love that of it. And you know, we're actually going to play another song. Speaking of, and it's Wherever You Are, and then we'll chat about that one after. So here it is, guys. Wherever You Are.
Like a river running into the ocean, moving mountains apart. There's a sweet sound of devotion coming out of the dark that pulls me closer to.
And I actually really love the upbeat feeling to this song. And I was wondering if you could tell me any challenges that were involved when you were recording it.
Well, I definitely wrote a hard melody.
Yes. That's a good melody.
Do you know the hardest thing on this was to layer all the harmonies so they all sounded so full, because I did all my own BVs and harmonies.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there was some were so high and low, but actually I think that's what makes the song sound so good.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the hardest part for me, just trying to nail the harmonies.
Any tips then for anyone else who needs to try to nail harmonies?
Oh, well, usually the producer I was working with, Soren, he had a piano, so he would plunk them out and then get me to sing them. And then, I'd sing it and then forget it straight away. So it's almost like short-term memory. Just sing it, get it in the can, and then move on. So, yeah, I mean, some people are great at harmonies, it's a different skill, isn't it? So
It is, yeah. I love a good harmony actually as well. But melody is definitely my vibe. I absolutely love it. I think that's why I really like that song.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you, I love asking this one to everyone who's doing really well. Do you remember the first time that you got on stage and had to do a performance? And was there anything that happened, good or bad, that has stayed with you right through till now?
So I was about 6 when I did my first. Is that too early?
That's so young. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I was tiny. And I just remember being really scared, actually, a bit nervous, but also you want to do it. So it's not a nerves like I'm going to run away. It's nerves like, oh, what's going to happen? Like the anticipation. And then I just was on such a high afterwards. And so that was my first time experiencing a little bit of stage fright, I think, and sharing my voice and kind of putting myself out there. I know I was tiny, so I'm sure people would have loved it because I was cute or whatever, but it was the same feeling I still get now. I'm like, oh, I still have that, like, I hope this show goes well. Like, I hope I do okay. I hope people like it. I hope it's going to be good. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a buzz.
Yeah, so that after feeling when you did it, that's kind of stayed with you, and that's what you're enjoying every time now since.
Yeah.
Because I'm the opposite. Like when I was a kid, I was made to go to dance school.
Oh, really?
And I hated it. I wanted to learn martial arts. I didn't want to learn how to dance. And like, my dance teacher had to push me onto the stage.
Oh, really?
Not for me at all. So I'm the complete opposite. So I'm always fascinated when I'm speaking to artists, that when you talk about the first time you ever did it and when you were weighing, and oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh. And then actually speaking of pre-show nerves, does that still happen now for you? And do you have any form of like rituals before you go on stage? I know there's loads of artists that do, but I'm curious to know if you do.
I do still get nervous, absolutely. To kind of ease my nerves, I just make sure I'm prepared. Like I make sure the silly things like the mic stand is the right height. And my set list is, pinned down. Everybody knows what the order of the songs. I warm up. Because sometimes those tiny things can really throw you off your show. And they sound like small things.
Yeah, is that all things maybe that you would have learned just over the years? That's experience speaking about the microphone stand and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not. I think I'm slightly challenged with like stuff, and little things when you're on show and you're about to do show. Changing the mic stand or someone plays the wrong song in the wrong order. It can really throw you off your game. So I've learned to just make sure all that stuff is down and I'm warmed up, so there's like no room for error.
See, I would be like that. I'm like that even with this here. You saw like with Tom, he has to come in and check everything, but I'm like, make sure this is right, that's right, this is right. I completely relate to you there on that. So see when you are performing, is there one that stands out to you, even a recent show that's been quite memorable for you?
Yes, I mean, I've played lots of amazing shows, but I have done some amazing support slots lately. And
Oh.
with the support slots, it's like I'm the opening act for,
Mhm.
I supported a artist called Walter Trout on
Mhm.
tour, and we played at Islington Assembly Hall, and it was like sold out, and I did an acoustic show, and it was just very cool because the audience were very quiet and
Mhm.
engaged, and I just felt like, you know, it was just a really cool vibe, and I felt like we connected, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah. Is it more nerve-wracking doing support than doing your own show?
It's just different. Yeah, it's a little different. Well, actually, being a support act, you don't have to worry if people are going to turn up because it's usually full, and you know the tickets
Yeah.
sell out. Whereas when it's my own show, I'm like, oh my god, what if we don't sell any tickets? What if no one comes?
Oh.
So it's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And actually, speaking of audiences, in shows over the years, has there been any audiences that have reacted to songs or a song in a way that's maybe surprised you in a good or bad way?
I had one song. It was called "Fool" from my last album, and it was
Mhm.
funny because no matter where I was or every time I sang that song, it would like quieten the room. So it felt like, yeah, you know, even if people weren't listening, if I sang that song, they would listen. It was interesting to see how that translated. Like,
Yeah. And did that teach you anything about the song then as well, or developing or writing more songs?
I know, I just thought, wow, that must just be a really good song. And then also, you're always trying to write a better song. So I did always think I need to write another song like Fool. And on the new album, I wrote Nobody Loves Me Like You, which I think is the closest I'm going to get. But, you know, sometimes songs just are magic. And that Fool is like a sad song. And I sometimes think heartbreak songs connect with people. I don't know why people must just connect.
Absolutely. Pain always seems to be the emotion that works in songs.
Yeah.
I mean, as a fan of music, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's also easier to write a sad
Mhm.
song. I don't know if people talk about this, but I push myself to write upbeat, happy songs, but it's easier to write something sad, personally, for me.
That's interesting, actually. There's a lot of bands I listen to that are a bit more melancholic, and I kind of really like that.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like the sadder songs kind of cheer me up. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely, I bet there's some weird chemistry, like a psychologist could figure it out, but I know what you mean. It's almost like healing, isn't it? Listening to that music.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an emotional thing too, because I'm very, very emotionally connected with music. And I think, you know, we've all been there. We've all experienced some kind of heartbreak or pain. So I feel like that's the easiest thing to relate to when you are listening to a song and you can hear somebody else who's written that. Because I'm always fascinated. Like I've said this all along. Musicians are like wizards. You know, you guys are like just creating magic. You're sitting writing something that a complete stranger is going to one day relate to and, you know, feel better for listening to it.
I know. It's wild, isn't it?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And look, moving on to touring here, because this is another thing that I get asked a lot to ask artists. It's touring as a solo artist. I know you have a band, but you're the singer-songwriter, the boss. And what I'd like to know is if you have tips for new artists starting out who do need to, you know, start touring, start getting out there. I know you mentioned it a wee bit earlier, but is there anything from a cost perspective that you can give tips for that kids can use to maybe start out with?
Yeah. So I think obviously touring is expensive, and it's just brutal, you know, unless you're selling really well ticket wise, it's really hard to do a tour and make good money. So I would say keep it small. So, you know, if you have songs that work really well acoustically, just take an acoustic guitarist. And if you play as well, you know, duos, trios, keep it really simple. I mean, I've done so many miles on my car. I drive everywhere myself, you know. I do
Oh,
my
wow.
own, yeah, I do my own merch. It'll be a little different on the tour in November because there's 4 of us, so we probably will
Yeah.
have a van. But there's so many great venues out there as well when you're starting out that have built-in audiences. So, you know,
Mhm.
if you start out and say, I'm going to book 3 shows, I'm going to do 3 acoustic shows, I'm going to really promote them, I'm going to get my acoustic guitars and make the set really great as it can be, then when you go play the show, even if it's, you know, 30 people, people will talk about that, and then the next time you go, you can play a slightly bigger show. So I think sometimes you don't need all the bells and whistles to start. I think you can just go and play an acoustic show and impress people.
Yeah. And keeping it, like, would you recommend then just trying to stay as local as you can, or would you recommend branching out then just over time, I suppose?
Yeah, I would say start out local, but I think if you stay local, you don't do yourself any favors. I think you have
Mm.
to push yourself. Like I said, like if you book just 3 or 4 shows, you know, look at the venues other people have played. Is there a small venue with a great audience, built-in audience? And there's tons of them around the country. So,
Yeah.
you know, and if you book them in advance, you can book them 3, 4 months in advance and then really try and sell them out. I would say that's probably a good way to start.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that was great. And like it is like a lot of them are asking that because you are right. Touring, especially nowadays, it has got crazy. And I've heard a
Yeah.
lot of them saying that even from after COVID times, it's gotten worse and more
Yeah.
expensive. So like anything that can help these kids at all, just to keep them going. Don't give up, guys. We want to see
Yeah.
you out there.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, it always looks like people are doing really well, but the
Mhm.
people that are doing really well are probably just have been consistent for a long time. You know, there is no one who has not played to 4 people and had a bad show. You know, I have, or I've had a bad day and thought, oh, I want to give up, or, you know, or lost money and felt stressed. But I do think the people that keep showing up because they're
Mhm.
passionate tend to kind of do better just because it's, you know, persistence.
Yeah, so never give up, really. And if this is your dream, just keep going.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't sweat about if nobody turns up or you're just playing to the other bands. It's part of the journey, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're going to play another wee song, and actually, I really love this one, called "Heartbreaker." So here it is.
'Cause she's a heartbreaker, lighting up this
Love this one, and I felt like it was a bit more rocky as well. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's got like a mood to it that I just like with me with always it's how my emotions connect with the song, and that one certainly did with me. And I would just love to know from your perspective as the writer, what did you enjoy the most about creating that song that's just made me like a very happy lady?
Well, I was watching, when I wrote this song, I'd been watching that show Daisy Jones and the Six. Did you
Oh,
ever watch that?
I loved it. That was brilliant, that show.
Yeah, yeah. And I was so inspired by the females in it.
Yeah,
And so
brilliant.
the lyric is definitely inspired by Daisy Jones and all the females in that show. They're all amazing.
I love that because I
And
love that
yeah,
show.
yeah. So I just kind of wrote a story about a heartbreaker. And yeah, when I came up with the heartbreaker, I was like, well, that's a catchy hook already. So it was a good place to start.
I love that. I love that it was inspired by something that you watched then as well. And it's actually a show that I really enjoyed, and I love the song.
Yeah,
That's so cool to hear. And
yeah,
it just shows you that inspiration can come from anywhere.
absolutely. Yeah.
People, listen. Listen to that inspiration when it hits you and do it. um, I'd love to know as well, because you've worked with a lot of people and supported many acts as well. Is there, first of all, a dream show that you would love to play? And again, this can be any stage, anywhere in the world, with any artist in the world as well, randomly. Can be completely
Gosh,
unrealistic as well.
that is so hard. I'm a big fan of so many artists, so I'm just going to throw a few out. These would
So,
be dreams. So
yeah.
Bonnie Raitt, I'm a big fan of Bonnie Raitt. So to be anywhere near her in her presence would be a dream. John Mayer, I love John Mayer. I think
Yeah.
to do something in a huge arena with him would be amazing. I'm also a big fan of Chris Stapleton as well.
Love Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
I
love
mean,
him.
yeah. I know there's so many others too. I'm a big fan of an artist called Maggie Rogers as well.
Mhm.
But we, it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm not sure we duet, but it would just be lovely to kind of meet them or support them or do something with them.
Yeah, I always love hearing that. I love hearing, when like, because to us as fans, we'll be watching you and you're, doing really well to us, and then when you're like fanning out over somebody else, it's so cool to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
And Chris Stapleton, yes, insanely good.
Yeah.
Speaking of working with others, have you ever been given advice by anybody in the music industry that has just been really incredible and would maybe help some new artists starting out?
Oh, this is a tricky one because I would say, I'm just going to put this out there and keep it real. Most people in the industry are a little bit negative, actually. And
Really?
they talk about, I feel like they talk about numbers, and it can be a little bit making you feel like you're never going to do that.
Mhm.
And actually, you have to just make a plan yourself and believe in it, I think. Because if I
Yeah.
listened to everyone in the industry, I would not be here now. I probably would have just not given up.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, if people are trying to maybe, I suppose, coming at you from businessy type of side of it, which really does hurt
mhm,
creative, mind. So
mhm,
it's best to just try to dull out that noise and
yeah,
listen to your own heart and your own intent, really.
yeah. And, as creatives, well, speaking personally from my experience, I'm not very business minded. So
Mhm.
I want to make the music and I have ideas and I want to do all this. So maybe it is important to get someone who you know and love, a friend, a family member, I don't know, someone you can trust to help you with a plan if you struggle with that, and
Mhm.
then stick to it, because sometimes people can just kind of crush your dreams, and then that's the worst part. The whole point of having a dream is for you to go out and do it and to believe in it. So
Mhm.
that's that's my advice. I'm keeping it real.
No, that's actually really good and actually very real. And that's what I really want as well, because I've always wanted to just be able to bring as much as I can for new artists in a realistic way.
Mm-hmm.
But to also keep just maintaining that hope for them as well. So thank you for that. It's actually really
Yeah.
useful. I have a wee random question for you.
Yeah.
I like to throw in the random ones. So if you could perform in any decade ever, would you still choose to perform nowadays, or would you pick, I don't know, the 70s or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I probably would pick the 70s. Yeah. And hopefully I'd pick up some nice flared jumpsuits while I was there.
Nice. 70s was a good decade. I
Yeah,
know.
I just feel like everyone just looked fabulous.
They did. And the music was great too. And there was a whole
Yeah.
movement. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Not that I was there. I was born in then, but I wasn't there. Don't remember it. I want to move into the modern times, right? So back to nowadays, unfortunately. But there is a social media necessity, I suppose. And a lot of artists that I've spoken to, they'll say, it's like a necessary evil now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love your perspective on social media and also tips on using it without getting too involved in it, or having to worry about the trolls who do come for us, especially as females. I would just love your perspective on that.
Well, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with social media because as artists, and it's a business, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can get away from it. And also you have to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And some people are really good at that, and some people aren't. Some people, it doesn't come naturally, or you can be a perfectionist, so you never want to put anything out. But what I would say is that you have to do social media. There's no getting around it. So you may as well find a way to enjoy it, or find a way that you the stuff you put out you're proud of. You know, like you put out a song, if you're going to put out a piece of content, make sure you're proud of it and you like it. And I would say don't keep looking and looking for likes. Just post it and put it out there and think it's done. Just think of it like work. And it's really hard. I mean, it's so much easier said than done. And of course, sometimes you have more to shout about than other times. So I mean, there's loads of stuff online about filming batched content. So you could film like 6 pieces of content in one night and then post it. And, you know, if you're an organized person and you want to do that, that's one way of doing it. Or I think just getting creative and trying to enjoy it.
Yeah, make fun with it as well. Like there's other bands who are doing incredibly well with it. I actually interviewed one last week, and they're huge on social media.
Wow.
And it's just finding a way to use it and utilize it that can work for you, or find someone else who can do it for you. You just film it and they'll handle it for you.
Yeah, or you know, brainstorm with someone who's good at that stuff.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes I look in my drafts. This is just a little piece of advice. And I look and I think, God, all the things I didn't post because I was scared, you know, what someone's going to say or think. And then I've made a point to think, this is for me. It's not for anyone else. So, you know, don't worry what people think.
Yeah, and actually that's probably the best advice ever, because I know nowadays there's so much pressure on kids. Everything has to be perfect, and they have to be able to do so many different things in this world musically now as well. It's just, you know, I still like it worries me sometimes because I'm like, you know, we need new artists to keep coming. Don't give up, you know, please keep coming. So I'm always looking for from guys who are doing really well, just how you can give them further advice to not give up, you know, to maintain that hope and motivation and inspiration, but also the realism. So that's, you know, what I definitely try to get that as much as possible as well. But like I'm going to go back to actually just another wee fun random question, and it's one of my favorite ones. It's, if there was a world with no music whatsoever, wasn't invented, it doesn't happen, there's no music, I know, worst world ever, is there what do you think you would be doing in that world?
That's really hard, but the only thing I can think of is I would work with dogs or something. I would probably have to just breed Shih Tzus.
I love that. Working with dogs, you know, that would definitely be right. I've always wanted to work with dogs. Absolutely. I love them.
Yeah, or wildlife or something by the sea, or just something. Yeah. Actually, that sounds quite nice.
Yeah. I'm starting to go, wait, hold on. Your world's actually not too bad. All right. Well, we're going to go back to music, because in this world there is music, thankfully. And we're going to play another song. And we're going to go for What I'm Made Of.
Swinging, 'cause I know what I'm made of. Falling down to get back up. I know what I came.
Okay, that was that one. I absolutely love that song again. And again, I find that one inspiring and uplifting. I like quite a lot of yours, actually. I enjoy that part of it. And again, your stories, I love them. Can you tell me then just the creative story behind this song in particular?
Yeah, sure. So the hook of that song, the beginning, the ooh, ooh, I used to sing that around the house before I wrote the song. So I just kind of came up with that hook.
Oh, right.
And I thought it was another song. I thought it was a song I'd heard on the radio, but then I realized no. So I sat down with my husband one night, who plays guitar, and we often write together. So he started playing the chords I was singing, and I wrote the chorus quite quickly. So, yeah. And my mum used to say to me as a kid, show them what you're made of. So when we were going for that whole kind of don't give up vibe, I was trying to find a line that I could really relate to that wasn't, you know, stay strong or invincible, all that stuff. And I thought, well, what I'm made of is kind of a cool way. And so that's kind of where that song came from.
I love that. And I love that it came from your mum as well. That's so cute.
Yeah,
And then just knowing that you were, you had a bit of the melody, the hook, and then just all of a sudden, out comes a song. This is what I mean by magicians, wizards. Just go back here because I'm someone, I love a good cover song. One of my favorite ever cover songs of all time is by a band called Him, and they covered Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, and it is such an incredible cover. But see when somebody can do a cover and they stay true to the original, but they can also like make it their own. I think that's like hard to do, but there are many artists who have done that. And I'm just curious, is there a song out there that you would absolutely love to cover?
There is actually. I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan.
Oh, I love Fleetwood.
Yeah, and I think one day I'm going to do it, but I am going to do a cover of Dreams. You know, and try and do, you know, not change it too much, like you said, because it's such a good song. You don't really want to mess with it. So, and I've also tried to write songs that have that vibe of Dreams, but it's kind of just timeless, amazing song.
Yeah, that'd be so cool to hear, actually. So please do it.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
I love a good cover. I really do. So, like, we're coming along to the end here. And what I'd love to do, first of all, is just before we do finish all this off, is there anything else that you can think of advice-wise for our new artists that are listening that you think would be important to add?
I would say, obviously, be really proud and work really hard on your material so you know it's the best it can be, and decide what vibe you want to go to. You know, you can look at other artists for inspiration in terms of artwork and ideas. I think it's always good to know your lane, you know, where you sit within the music industry. Like, what playlist do you want to be on? What festivals do you want to play? I think that all kind of leads into your vision. And then once you have those things in your mind, I sometimes think things happen then when you know what you want.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. And what's next for you? I know there's the tour and I know there is the album. Anything else coming up?
So yeah, it's a really busy end of the year. I've got a big support tour with King, and then the album comes out, and then I do my own tour. And then next year I will be releasing another album, but I am going to be co-writing with some other artists actually. So next year we might have some collabs coming out, which I'm excited about. So yeah, that'll be exciting.
Nice, love a good collab. Excited. Coming, man. So the last song that we're going to play is one that's going to be playing us out, and that is Honest. And just before we play it for everybody, can you just let me know what you would want this song to do for your fans? What do you want your fans to take from it?
I think this song is the poppiest song on the album, and I just would, but it was such a hooky guitar riff that I just loved it. And I just think it shows my versatility as an artist. And also, you know, a good song's a good song. So I would like my fans to know, you know, you don't just have to make one kind of, everything doesn't have to sound the same. And an album is to have all different, you know, different types of songs on there.
Yeah, that's actually great advice too for the ones listening. New artists, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Expand yourselves. Well, look, Laura, thank you so much for hanging with me tonight and talking about music. It's been awesome.
You're so welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, and guys, here it is. This is Honest.
I don't think that you would love